Also very weird. Look at this. Happiest childless millennial on Earth. I'm gonna say it. If you have to announce to everyone that you're really happy, you're probably not really happy. Can I just say that? I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's the same thing as when people post on Facebook all the time about, like, or on Instagram for that matter, about how wonderful their life is and, like, they have super happy kids, and then, like, behind closed doors they're, like, falling apart and shit. Like, I've seen that actually happen. My brother's friends. I thought they were really well off and having a great time because they'd always constantly post about, like, their kids and, like, themselves and, like, their marriage and stuff, and it turns out it's, like, it's not great. And I found out through my brother, and I was like, oh, I thought they were doing fine. Of course you're eating? Yeah, I'm eating a tree stick. All done. I got my water. Yeah. Did you wash the hands? I had, like, a good break. I did wash my hands. Okay. Let's do it. The insane world of obese Disney adults. Gosh darn it, what's going on?
Have you been dying to ride Dragon Racers Rally at Universal's Epic Universe, but you weren't sure if you'd fit?
I feel like I asked this question in
cheese and crackers, man.
most videos, but what am I watching here? Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell.
I'm sorry, that just gave me whiplash. Oh my god, people used to make fun of people being fat on the playground and, like, being really mean to them, and now we post on TikTok about how we should fit on Disney rides, man. Oh, lordy lord.
And as per usual, before we launch in,
Goodness.
today's video is sponsored by Unity. So I have been on the internet for a very long time. And the longer that I'm here, the more that I see things that both alarm and confuse me. And the subject of today's video is no exception. I've had my head in a lot of obesity-based topics over the last little while, just because, like, when you find one story, it leads you down the rabbit hole. So, I don't know, expect some more obesity on this channel in the coming weeks. Not from me, though.
Put on some weight, Sydney!
Where I'd sit in the corner and then cry about my 5-kilo weights. Now, recently, I learned that there is a group of women
Plus-size park hoppers. What does it even mean? Park hopping? Again, I'm not super into the culture of, like, going on trips to Disneyland. I don't think I've ever been to Disneyland, actually. I've been to... I forget, it's like, I think it's like Universal, like a long time ago when I was like 4 or 5.
Called the plus-sized park hoppers. Some of you may or may not have heard about them already because they've been around for a little while. Woo! This is a group of 5 women from Massachusetts here in the US who range in clothing.
Massachusetts makes them large.
Sizes from 2XL
Everything's bigger in
to
Massachusetts.
5XL. Their words, guys, not mine.
And keep in mind, 5XL in America, not in European definitions or Japanese ones, for example. Yeah, this is 5XL in America.
Everyone, we're plus-size park hoppers, and we range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus-size Disney tips and tricks.
These ladies go to Disney theme parks every other month to report on what is and isn't accessible to them. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every other month. Yeah, I am not kidding. The whole thing here is going to theme parks and resorts, and
do they go out of their way to, like, shit on the park if they can't fit in the ride?
reporting back about not being able to fit into chairs. When I tell you I am tired. These women tell you if you can fit onto specific rides, like if you can get the little bar thing to sit across your belly. Okay.
These seats are molded with a divider that goes between your legs. The safety mechanism is an over-the-shoulder chest restraint that does need to get to a certain position to lock. Ashley wears a size 5X and unfortunately was not able to get
My mom and dad might be a little bit mean because they grew up in Eastern Europe where, like, you know, food was pretty scarce at times, and they had a hard time growing up, and they'd always tell me, like, Alana, if you ever get so big you can't fit through the door, I feel like we would intervene, and we would blame ourselves. And I remember that conversation. I was like, I mean, thank God I'm not fat or anything. Like, I was, like, growing up, right? And they were like, yeah, they'd say that to a kid. I'm not saying you should say this, but how do you get to this point and not go like, I can't fit on a fucking Disney ride and I can't enjoy the things that I want to enjoy. I need people to accommodate to this. To my fatness. Like...
the green light for this ride.
Which types of obesity scooters to use, and if you can get them.
Disney World vacations can require a lot of walking, which can...
Oh my gosh. And here I am, like, thinking about going to Japan and how much you have to walk in Japan, apparently, which a lot of people talk about. You actually have to train yourself to, like, walk, even if you're a fit person in Japan. Yeah, it's all walk, exactly. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm thinking about how I should, like, start walking even more and, like, go on bike rides even more than I do already to, like, you know, get the most out of my trip. And these people are complaining about walking because it's painful because they're so big.
Be painful and might put a damper
and
on
large.
Your vacation. For longer trips, one of us always rents a scooter, and she prefers to rent through Gold Mobility.
Which is the best anti-chafing leg rub to use?
We went too far. I think people used to shame really hard and say, like, you know, a size 1 or 2 when you were growing up as a teenager back in the 90s and the 2000s. I read that a lot of people got body dysmorphia because of that, and I think they grew up into the 2010s and 2020s. The pendulum swung way too fucking far.
I just learned this is a thing.
So we really like this Dr. Frederick's Better Body Balm. You just rub it on your thighs and it helps stop the friction.
I've never had this problem, thankfully, but it's good to know the brand to use in case I ever do. Thank you. They reference where you can park your car if you want to avoid walking. They explain what this red rash on your leg might be and say that it's from exercise, but in
What? You can get rashes from exercise?
in reality, it's called vasculitis, and it would probably go away if you lost some weight, and much, much more. So obviously, if you have been around this channel for any length of time, you will know that I am not a fan.
It's from sweating, because their skin rubs while it's sweaty. Oh my god, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Of how people have gotten fatter and fatter as the years have gone on. And with this issue specifically, with these people specifically, I don't want to make fun of them just because they're fat people on the internet doing their thing and having fun. But I do want to talk about them because, like, for one, Disney adults are just incredibly bizarre to me.
Even if they weren't fat, Disney adults are just insane to me. We've watched videos about Disney adults, and that's already like a level of mental illness I will never understand. People go into debt to go to Disney parks every year and then dragging their kids along even though they don't want to. Like, this is just another layer of it, quite literally a layer.
All on their own. Going to Disney this regularly and making your entire personality a company that has been...
Imagine being, like, that's your dad and he goes to Disney instead of, like, I don't know, buying you a bike or something.
And historically enjoyed by children is something I don't quite understand. I'm prepared to admit that I am a Disney tourist. I like to watch the cartoons sometimes and...
That's fine.
To comment on this channel about
That's normal.
How bad the
most people that aren't into Disney are only into Disney because of their kids. I find that also very normal because children love those things and you have to consume them by proxy because they enjoy them. I don't find that weird.
Remakes are. But going to Disneyland or Disney World 1,000 times a year
What?
Really? I don't know, man. That just feels like a really expensive way of saying I'm not in a relationship. But secondarily, and honestly, probably more importantly, I'm troubled by the continued effort to normalize.
This is how they afford it, because they probably get a lot of hate comments and stuff, and people who love it too, who love this, you know, body positivity and stuff. That's how they make their money. Yeah.
Being this huge in life and giving people tips and tricks to
Goodness
exist
gracious
like this.
me.
Not to mention essentially demanding Disney make efforts to accommodate your obesity, going to a place where you know you can't fit onto any of the rides or very few of the rides, and it's actually probably unsafe if you do so, while also eating insane amounts of food and insanely overpriced food, and somehow trying to act
the ultimate capitalism fodder. A bigger belly means that you can spend more money on food to fill your tummy.
It's like all of this is normal. It really, really isn't. In case that wasn't obvious. Editor Sydney from the future here, because I forgot to say this when I was recording, but it probably seems like a random ironic coincidence that Cook Unity is the sponsor for this video, but I actually did it deliberately, because as long as we're talking about not so great choices, I want to tell you about an actual good one. Look, I'm gonna level with you all. Your girl has tried basically every meal service under the sun because
I've never tried one. Maybe I should.
So while I respect cooking, sometimes you just don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have the energy, and sometimes you just want something healthy that's easy. So in cooking...
Chad, can I ask you a question? Have you guys ever tried those? I've never had one. Never. Maybe I should try them on stream. Kirsten says the meal services suck. I know that Fillion uses a company that delivers meals, but it's not one of these, like, you know, HelloFresh or whatever. It's like an actual meal service. Where they, like, cook the food and then bring it over to you, like, in a car. Yeah.
Unity reached out. I was like, okay, show me what you got.
It wasn't worth the price. It was
really
okay.
Impressed with their delivery, which probably seems really little, but to me makes a big difference because I have had food like this delivered that has arrived in boxes that have been destroyed and leaking. The food is no good. But in this case, they use sustainable bags, which are so cute. And the food actually arrived cold and completely intact. And it's not just a once-off because I've had multiple deliveries now. Cook Unity's meals are put together by actual chefs. So what's cool is that the instructions are based on what's fast, so
yeah. I don't know, maybe I'll ask Finley and be like, is there such a thing like Meals on Wheels? Like, that's not this sponsored stuff.
What the chef themselves recommends. So far, my favorite meals have been made by Chef David Adan.
No, I'm not shitting on her. She's probably really busy, okay? She might not be able to cook, but still.
He also made a Mediterranean salad that I really enjoyed. The difference here is that other companies give you frozen soggy mush. It's gross. But these meals taste great. They have great texture, and they're actually real food. And I like that there are
as opposed to fake food,
to choose from. So you can opt for different dietary preferences or pick from all these different flavor profiles. So if you too want chef-made meals delivered straight to your door, then click the link in the description or go to cookunity.com/Sydney50 for 50% off your first order. That's right, Cook Unity is offering you guys 50% off your first order when you use code Sydney50 at cookunity.com/Sydney50. Now, right out of the gate, these fat Disney park enjoyers get two kinds of responses predominantly. People like me, and probably, actually, a lot of you who are alarmed and appalled that we have even gotten to this place.
I've seen this guy react to it. It's crazy. They stuff themselves, like, the one meal for them is like 3,000 calories. And then they eat, like, afterwards, like, in 2 to 3 hours because their stomach is so huge.
Society. These are the people who are extremely critical of these women and the content that they are making.
Yeah,
and
fair.
I think we vary quite a lot. You know, you have the people who are very mean-spirited in their feedback and criticism, and then you have other people who I think are really funny. I saw that a bodybuilder and former Disney employee called Marie Lopez, who also happens to be married to the host of the podcast Revenge of the Cis, she made some funny videos about this that I thought you guys would like to see.
Have you been dying to ride Expedition Everest at Disney World's Animal Kingdom, but you weren't sure if you'd fit? All of us sizes 2X through 5X are able to ride this ride. Those of us who wear sizes 2X through 4X find this ride to be very comfortable. We hope that these tips help and that you don't get snatched by the disco yeti. For entrees, Deanna, Katie, and I all got the filet mignon. Deanna got hers with a side of green beans.
$62? $62? And look how much food they give you!
Deanna got hers with a side of green beans. As you might know, she is on a quest to find the best green beans, but she said that these were just okay. I got mine with béarnaise sauce and a loaded baked potato. I really enjoyed the steak and the béarnaise sauce was so good.
Bro, that steak looks like a fucking, like a shoe sole. And I bet you that's $50 too.
And a loaded baked potato. I really enjoyed the steak and the béarnaise sauce was so good.
Marie got a salad.
For dessert, Katie got the creme brulee, which was gluten-free.
The juxtaposition
$15,
is,
man.
It's something. Anyway, and probably pretty obviously, the other camp here are the yes queen types that love to say that this kind of thing is so great because of how
I don't hate these women. I don't want to bully them, but like I'm making jokes here and there, but like I ultimately feel bad for them because when you're so huge, maybe this one, if she turned herself around, maybe like in the next 5 years, she'll probably still have a good life. The one that was struggling to fit into this one, not that one, this one, the one with the brown shirt, that one is going to die probably at age 35. Maybe 37 if they're lucky. You do not live long. Your body starts breaking down.
inclusive it is.
There's no shot.
The plus size park hoppers really quickly. How evil do you have to actually be to see one of their videos and comment something just heinous? Just something so mean and nasty. Like, these girls, not only are they loving life, sharing their joy and happiness, but they're also helping like a major population of people who might find it very embarrassing or humiliating to want to be able to go on a ride.
I hate this take so much. I'm gonna use special language, so I'm sorry because it's YouTube. I had a friend that passed away from ED. Why was it okay for people to like shit on people on TikTok for starving themselves and not eating, and that's like socially acceptable and saying it's like gross and stuff? No, not that one, you fucking retards. The other one. God. No, the other one. I can't fucking say it. I can't say it on YouTube, otherwise it's bad. But the one where you don't fucking eat and then you die. The other one. This one is just the opposite. Why is this allowed and this is socially acceptable in this universe, but the other one is not? Like, what? I see so many people being like, oh my god, you're not eating enough all the time on TikTok and Instagram, but the other way around, it's like, oh my god, you're so disgusting for like making fun of someone or telling them that they're eating too much. Like, why?
And then the seat not be inclusive to their size.
And these women get so much hate on their videos.
By that logic, people who are underweight should be able to purchase airplane tickets for 50% less or whatever the ratio is, because of the people that are saying, oh, well, I should be able to get 2 seats instead of 1. That isn't that retarded to you guys? Like, just thinking about that logically. Like, people who are underweight should be able to get half off, as opposed to the people who are overweight having to buy 2 seats for the price of 1.
That's completely undeserved, and some of it is just flat out cruel. You know, I see a lot of comments kind of bullying them for their weight, and the comment that I see all the time is along the lines of like, if you can't fit on a ride, that should be a wake-up call. And that's,
yeah, it should be. Sorry.
That's just wrong to say for a lot of reasons.
I think I got more angry watching the Yes Queen videos that were enabling and justifying all of this than the actual plus-size park hoppers themselves. So I'm not sure what that says, but it says something.
It's because they don't read the comments. That's why they're still doing it. Yeah.
If you go on Reddit or other forums, you will see people complaining that they are overweight and are anxious about going to Disney. So there are a lot of people who like and appreciate what the plus-sized park hoppers are trying to do. They are making theme parks feel more accessible and less anxiety-inducing, I guess, for obese people.
You have anxiety because you're so huge and you take up more space and you're unhealthy and you're breathing harder and you're slower than everyone else at the park and you are different from everyone else. Like, oh, you're acting like, oh my god. They're putting themselves on the level of people who are actually disabled, I think. Like, I think the logic here is that, like, oh, I have such a bad anxiety. Like, I have the same anxiety as someone who's disabled. It's like, but you can control that. Like, you can just, you know, stop eating so much, as opposed to someone who's born without, like, legs or something. Like... I'm fine with someone who's born that way, right? Like, you're born without legs or you lose your legs. That's fine. It's not your fault. But, like, you can control your weight to some degree, right? Goodness, like...
And on this front, I can actually
so
understand this
entitled,
argument,
right? Yeah.
because being fat isn't fun, and it sure as hell isn't fun when you are acutely aware of the fact that the world is not designed for people of your size. You know, like when you are a prisoner in your own skin. But let's remember, human beings can absolutely get this big, but we are absolutely not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think these women and other fat amusement park content people are 100% proof of that. Personally, I hate all of this because I do view it as an attempt to normalize obesity rather than instructing people and helping people to navigate weight loss and making better choices. Let me show you what I mean. These women have made a bunch of videos explaining how to get your hands on these mobility scooters due to the fact that when you're
And these are expensive to rent. Did you see it was like $229 for a day, I think it was?
Walking around is really hard.
Company we trust when it comes to our theme park scooter rental, and that's Gold Mobility. Walking 5 to 10 miles a day can be overwhelming, especially...
How much is 5 to 10 miles, man? 5 miles, 2 kilometers. 8 kilometers! It's like nothing! 8 to 16 kilometers a day. Nah, that's crazy.
if you're in a larger body or have limited mobility. If you're afraid this will put a damper on your long-awaited vacation...
That would be a wake-up call for me. If I can walk 8 miles, like... not 8 miles. What did I say, 5 to 10? So what, yeah, 8 kilometers? I don't know, man. This is a wake-up call to me.
There is absolutely no shame in using an ECV.
But, and I think it goes without saying, these devices were not designed for fat people. Mobility scooters are for people who are actually disabled.
Yes.
Or the elderly. Or pregnant women? I don't know, I've never thought about this. Do you guys need mobility scooters? I have to imagine the babies are heavy. I don't know. These things are not...
My brother's wife, when she fucking got really pregnant and she was at that really pregnant stage, it starts hurting, apparently. She had to sit down a lot, but that's because you're not used to it. You're carrying pretty much like, you know, a big fucking baby.
Not designed for people who've been overeating their entire lives and want to...
Yeah, you're like at the end when you're about to give birth.
In several of their videos about these scooters, they even double up as an ad. Imagine being sponsored by a mobility scooter company because...
Damn, I kind of want to be sponsored to fucking riding around.
You're too fat to walk long distances. You guys know I am genuinely
That'd be
fine
sick,
with
honestly.
people on social media making a buck. I am fine with them working with advertisers and sponsors and all sorts of stuff. Like, get that bag. I'm fine with that. But, you know, on like a serious note, I think that a gym membership is infinitely cheaper than a mobility scooter. And that's
literally what I said. What is it, like a couple $100 a year for a gym membership as opposed to $229 to rent a scooter for a week or something, like 3 days?
For other things that they report on too, like food. Are you surprised? Probably not. Of course, these women have tons of videos stacking their plates with meals from Disney buffets or other Disney restaurants.
Yeah,
and snacks that
and it's ultra processed and frozen food. Yummy, yummy. I wouldn't eat this food out of principle because it's so expensive. Like, jokes aside, like, if you're fat and you want to eat some fast food, it is fucking... You could go to McDonald's, probably be a better meal than this shit.
Got on the go.
This is some garbanzo beans.
Between the cost of the mobility scooter and all the food, I feel
cheaper.
like being really overweight is quite an expensive exercise. I'm genuinely not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. This is another...
Yeah, because you're eating more food.
Place where I think it would be worth noting for their viewers how many calories they're consuming or how many calories this kind of food has, that eating like this is okay sometimes, you know, when you're on a holiday or...
$6 for a corn on the cob. $6. Chat. A corn on the cob costs like 50 cents in like hot regions. It gets expensive if you live in colder regions, obviously, but like, holy shit.
You know, doing something a little bit naughty, but it's not an all the time thing. But rather than acknowledging that and, you know, referencing that maybe there are better food options, they just eat and eat and eat.
Because they're hungry.
And it sort of feels reminiscent of this horrible overconsumption culture that we have cultivated as a result, particularly here in the United States, of huge portion sizes, but also...
Oh, look at that. Disney.
Turning eating itself into some sort of like online spectacle, so to speak. And if watching this type of thing makes you uncomfortable,
the king Nikocado.
it should, because eating this much and being this overweight is not normal.
I think it's disgusting when they do the whole pouring sauce everywhere and they get like food all over themselves. It reminds me of a toddler. And toddlers have the excuse of not having, like, you know, the ability to put food in their mouth because they're toddlers. You're an adult!
I also think what made me extra angry about all of this was this TikTok dietitian's response to this content, where she basically downplays how terrible it is and says that Disney is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so eat what you want.
Honestly,
she omits the fact that these people go to Disney like 100 times a year plus. I like that part. Very, very convenient.
it looks like a bunch of people
And they're clearly influencers, so you know that they're doing this all the time.
enjoying themselves at Disney and trying all of the fun foods on offer.
I totally get that. That's why people stuff themselves on vacation. Like, you go to, like, I don't know, Thailand, and you're eating all this food, and it's awesome. Like, I get that. Like, you're also on vacation. Like, I get it. But, like, this is, like, they're doing it all the time! This is their job!
Like any other Disney influencer, or even
So she's aware. Okay, got it.
just like Disney goer would be doing. When I went to Epcot for the first time, my day of eating looked identical to that.
How
And
often
yet
did you go,
no
though?
one would give a Disney isn't everyday life. In fact, for many families, it is a once-in-a-lifetime trip. So what you eat at Disney isn't going to be your everyday routine.
Wow, that's so
Crazy,
because
what?
This isn't the first time at all that they're trying this food. It's almost like they do this repeatedly, like it's their whole shtick, and they go to these places repeatedly. I don't usually like insulting people directly, but this woman's an idiot. Someone bring her to me so I can call her a slur. One of the other things I found out that I genuinely hate about this plus size park hopping content is complaining about innocuous things that aren't accommodating or accessible to these people. Like literal chairs.
The seating here consists of only tables and chairs without arms. In this episode of If I Fits, I Sits, we had dinner at Toledo.
Your arms are so huge you can't even lean them on the table because it will take up too much space. Or you're ordering a lot of food on the table. Holy America. Dude, every Western nation is just getting huger. Huger!
Spanish-inspired restaurant is located in the Grand Destino Tower at Disney's Coronado Springs. The seating here consists of tables with chairs without arms.
These women started an
my
entire
Lord.
series on TikTok called If It Fits, I Sits, and it basically documents whether or not they can fit into
I think one time I was at a restaurant and the woman was so fat they had to bring her out like a special chair. And I thought to myself, if I was that woman, I would probably be so embarrassed. That you couldn't fit in a normal chair. Yeah, bring out the fat chair for Alana. And I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'd be embarrassed, no?
Yes.
No,
This
not two
goes
chairs.
for-
No, they had a special chair for big fatties. For big fatty boom baddies.
Transport around the parks as well, like the shuttles taking them to and from the parking lot.
The parking lot tour may
What?
not be the most exciting ride of the day, but it's definitely a useful one. Especially if you don't want to get all of your steps in before you even get to the park entrance.
Oh my god, we're getting tired before we even get to the fucking park. Oh, mama. Ебать, блядь! Oh my god. Ёб твою мать. Oh. That's crazy. Never in my life have I ever had that happen. Like, going to an attraction or like going to like a festival and you're already tired. Oh,
What
Lord.
do you mean if you don't want to get steps in before you go to the park?
It's not that far.
Even testing out whether or not they fit in the ride seats themselves is a huge part of this kind of content.
I need to pump up my numbers or something. I'm missing out.
Through making this video that Disney has tester seats where people can go and sit in a fake seat to make sure that they'll fit in the real ones. And I am promising you now, these don't exist because of tall people or short people. They will be here.
No, because there's more fat people than really, really tall people that can't ride the rides. The people that are over, what is it, like, I don't know, what's like a pretty tall fucking person? I'm pretty sure 6'4". I think that's really tall for a guy, right? I think that's pretty much an outlier. 8 foot? No, I think like anyone over 2 meters tall is really tall. Yeah.
Are almost exclusively, I am sure, for fat people.
Have you been dying to ride Test Track at Disney World's Epcot, but you weren't sure if you'd fit?
I know I can fit. I don't need a tester seat. So I sent one of my friends one of the videos that I was using here because I was alarmed after seeing it. And she pointed out the sign in the background of one of the shots that says, "Test this seat before riding. The seating and restraints on this attraction may prohibit some guests of certain body shapes and sizes from riding."
Disney predicted Wall-E. No, there's no prediction. People are already really, really fat at that point. Just say fat. No, it won't make them money.
Did I not just tell you that this exists exclusively for fat people? This is code for obese people can't fit, so no getting flung around in the air for you. Honestly, I'm glad that they have test seats because I think that it's actually a hazard for obese.
Holy, my eyes just kind of went like sideways. That was like an optical illusion right there.
Actually a hazard
That was an optical illusion. My eyes kind of watered.
But it's genuinely sad that this even needs to be the case. In this video, this guy is trying so hard to push the little securing bar thing down. He's using his entire body. And it's actually not just these plus-size park hoppers making these seat videos. There are tons of them on social media where people complain about these not being accessible. Fam, they're not supposed.
Every ride at theme parks, all my friends go them because I'm too fat to fit the harnesses and lap bars. Is that not a wake-up call? I've heard of people who are really, really fat. There's been some really wholesome stories that I've seen throughout the years, like on YouTube or like in real life, of a dad that was so fat that he couldn't even throw the ball for his kid, and then one day he's like, I have had enough. And he lost so much weight that he could play with his kid again. And I think that's wonderful. I hope that a lot of people like that have a wake-up call and they realize that that's like, you know, that's what the good ending is. Not you fucking getting so huge that you can't even spend time with your children. Like, it's just like, why can't you just be less selfish? Like, your friends are going on the rides and you paid money. Let's even break it down even more. You paid money to go to a park and you can't even enjoy it because you can't fucking ride the rides. You lost money because you didn't get the entertainment value.
Not being accessible. Fam, they're not supposed to be accessible because you're not supposed to be the size of Maine. So of course, I have two primary issues here, and the first is safety. Because if you are this fat, I think this is unsafe. If you are trying to ride rides this fat, I think that is hazardous, not only to you, but also to the people around you. A woman on TikTok even told a convoluted story that was a little confusing about how she was put into a ride and fit in there. And she sort of describes how she has a stomach fat flap, and that is what the seat bar was pushed on top of. So when the ride was actually in motion, her stomach flap flipped up over the bar so that she had this big space between her and the bar that was supposed to be holding her in place, and she felt like she was not secured and she was going to fall out of the ride and die. This is not a description that I ever thought that I'd be giving, but here we are.
Like the fat that I have is like that, the pooch where it's just kind of like an overhang.
The fupa.
You know what I mean? But underneath that, like I'm skinnier underneath my little pooch, right? And so keep that in mind when you're thinking about this story, okay? Because what happened is that when we get up and we're on that like little loop, that go like it shoots you up really fast, and then you sit up here on this loop right here, and then you go down. When we started to go down, I was not tight enough. Okay, that fat that she pushed down on there, my fupa, right? It came loose because I literally sat up in the seat, like my butt was up in the air. That fat went over that bar. So now at this point, there is like a gap.
She could have died.
Like this much gap from me and the device that's supposed to be.
They're gonna start like making rides because these people are so common now that they're gonna have to like strap people in. Death by fupa is fucking insane. I feel bad. I don't want her to get hurt, but like there's a solution to this. There is a solution to this.
Holding me in.
And second, and I really mean it when I say that I'm not trying to be mean here, but if you are going to take the time to go to a theme park, especially if, you know, you're flying in or you're driving in or whatever, you're going to go to the theme park, you're going to spend tons of money at
like
that theme
thousands
park.
of dollars usually.
A bunch of walking, you're going to go on the rides, you're going to make memories with your family. Why would you do all of that without putting in the effort to lose a bit of weight so that you can enjoy it better?
Yeah!
Why the hell are you expecting the theme park to accommodate you rather than you bettering yourself so that you can have a better time? It genuinely makes me so angry because
it's the entitlement, man. Our society is extremely entitled.
it screams entitlement, and
This is a bummer.
So sick of entitled people. I can't even imagine spending the time and money to go to a theme park knowing.
I just had a horrible thought. What if she flew out and like fucking crushed someone? That's such a horrible thought, but like if you land on someone, they might break their head or something and like survive. But like if a 300 or 400 pounds flies through the air, like if you land on someone, you're probably gonna just kill them, like just straight up. I'm not trying to be mean, I'm just thinking the logistics. Like, I'm sure there's been accidents before of people flying out of their seat and then landing on someone or, like, hurting themselves. I think that's really sad and horrible, but, like, I would feel bad. I'd be like, damn, I don't want to kill someone if I fucking fly out of the seat.
Full well the entire time that it's going
like, I feel bad.
And then proudly getting on the internet and informing other people of this struggle like it's somehow everyone else's fault.
Yeah!
Interestingly, I also found another account of one of these amusement park fat people, and with relation to not fitting in seats, someone asked him why this isn't a wake-up call. He replied that each time he fails to fit, he promises himself that he'll lose weight, but the quote-unquote motivation never outlasts his hunger.
Oh my gosh. I mean, at least he's honest. He's not like... He's not saying like, oh yeah, well, I'm not gonna do it. Oh man, that sucks. Dude, you can do it, please. I believe in you. It's a disorder. Yeah, his tummy hurt. He needs eating. He need to fill the tummy, otherwise he feel bad.
I hate it here. Which honestly
It's
makes
so
me just
sad.
want to throw hands. Because, dude, what do you mean? I think the bottom line here is that
Addiction,
there is
food
a
addiction.
huge, pun not intended, but welcomed, accountability issue with topics like this because, again, people would rather find tips and tricks to exist in this state of obesity rather than actually making time, effort, and putting energy into losing weight. Also, as a total aside, I can't even imagine getting a job at Disney and expecting that you're going to be dealing with all these cute little kids and then seeing this parade of obese Disney adults and just being like,
Yeah.
To be clear, if you are overweight and you are trying to lose weight, I think you're pretty cool because that's not easy. Not in a day and age where food is poison and we're sedentary and people act like going to the gym and eating healthy is some sort of wild achievement. So if that
Back to brain reward system again, eating equals feel good, can't stop, get bigger. I truly believe food addiction is on the level of like drug addiction and like sex addiction. Because the fundamental problem with food addiction is that the dopamine that you get the hit off of, and then when you look down and you're fat and you don't feel good, your dopamine is low, and then you get the high from eating, and so you just get upset, and it's like a cycle. It's the same thing with drug addiction. You see yourself hurting yourself, and then you do the drugs because you feel bad about yourself. You have to break the cycle. It's really sad.
is you, more power to you. And I think that
Yeah,
is
it's
really
not
cool.
easy,
But as
it's
far
hard.
as these fat amusement
hard.
park people go, before the woke times crashed into us and consumed us all, people seemed to understand that not everything was made or meant for them. But somewhere along this weird and awful path of fat acceptance and body positivity, we seem to have lost that ancient wisdom.
We have
For a
lost
lot of
that
fat
plot, bro.
activists and their allies, there's this idea here that this is all about equality, that fat people, obese people, should be able to enjoy the same things as skinny people, including theme park rides. Personally, I'm not super sure what's enjoyable about having metal bars cutting into your fat rolls while you're thrown about.
Yeah, that sounds really uncomfortable.
You do you. I'm not sure what's enjoyable about getting vasculitis because walking around a theme park for a few hours is akin to running a mini marathon for some people. Life is definitely not more or equally enjoyable when you are morbidly obese. It is painful, it is expensive, and yes, you are going
Sleeping's hard. You're tired. You probably have sleep apnea. No, not even probably. You very likely do have sleep apnea. Like, you can't breathe at night. You wake yourself up. You disturb your sleep. Fucking, you can't walk. You're tired, so you can't walk as much. Diabetes, that's right. Might lose a leg if you're unlucky enough. Like, it sucks. I don't want people to be fat. I want them to be, like, you know, a good weight. And it also it amplifies your other genetic predisposition to having issues. Like, if you already have, like, a family that has, like, heart problems, even without being fat, that absolutely turbo accelerates it. That's just an example. Maybe you have, like, muscular dystrophy or something. I don't fucking know. Like, it's just sad.
to be excluded from doing some things that skinny people
cancer.
can do. And that's not the fault of anybody else. No one's oppressing you. Society is not built to oppress you. It's because these people have built prisons out of their own skin. Not the skin, sorry, out of their own fat. Tired me is just envisioning an actual prison, like, built out of fat. And that's horrifying.
Big from fatty
as much
from
as
fatty.
people like this seem to want the world to accommodate them, I think it's pretty clear that they fundamentally lack the desire and motivation to do the things that will better themselves so that they can actually exist in the world normally. In the end, it genuinely upsets me that there is this cohort of people who have deliberately and intentionally handicapped themselves while acting like they are on the same level of equivalence to people who have actual disabilities through no fault of their own, who ask for
That's
very
literally what I
little.
said earlier,
And
yeah.
while I definitely believe that these people are adults and are free to exist however they so choose, I am incredibly upset by this ongoing attempt to normalize obesity to the wider population.
I think what really irks me is that people who are extremely fat will compare themselves to being, like, genuinely disabled. Like, people that can't walk, or they have, I don't know, they don't have arms or limbs and they need like a ramp, and it's like, I need that ramp too. It's like, but you can do something about it. The person in a wheelchair probably can't afford to have like an expensive, you know, leg replacement, or like a, what is it called? You know, like a fake leg or whatever to help them walk, because it's expensive. Like, you can do something about being fat. Yeah, prosthetic. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I'm being stupid. But yeah, just grow another leg, bro. It's like, but like, you can lose weight and stop eating and like maybe like go on a calorie deficit. Like, it's not that difficult. Like, this is a permanent thing. Yeah.
I am sorry
or
that
old
theme
people,
parks
yeah.
don't feel like they
you can't
are
help being
accommodating
old.
your obesity, but honestly, they probably shouldn't be. Now, on that very happy and pleasant note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Cook Unity using the link in the description. I am a big fan of the meals that they sent me. I do think this is
Meals
one of
on
the
Wheels.
better, maybe even the best meal service that I have personally tried. So if this is something that would work for you, absolutely check them out. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Are you on my side of this issue, where you think that this plus size park hopping thing is working to normalize obesity further? I think all fat influencers are fucking horrible, and also people who glorify the absolute other side of the aisle where they don't eat. I think that's also just really, really bad, and I think that's normalized the other way around, that making fun of people who don't eat enough is way more accepted than people who eat a lot. Yeah. I even saw it at school. I knew a girl who was really, really skinny, and she would eat McDonald's like probably once a week, and then people were like, oh, how are you so skinny? You're so tiny. And she's like, I don't know. This is tough metabolism. They always tease her and say like how skinny she is. She was really, really skinny too, so I don't know. I think that it's really not that big of a deal, and it's just
I hope she didn't, like, you know,
thing that these
have
girls
a
are
disorder.
doing, that they enjoy, and they're actually making content that might help other people who are not fat. Although I do agree with that one too. I do think some of this probably helps non-fat people. Do you think that this is a good thing? Do you think that it's a bad thing? Do you think that it's fair that people pick on them all the time? Do you think that they're opening themselves up for this sort of criticism?
Yeah.
Do you think that everybody should just leave them alone and let them enjoy themselves? What do you think of theme parks making all of these concessions for fat people? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Should we be trying to push fat people out of these environments and try to kind of unfairly encourage them to lose weight like this? And what do you generally make of this?
You're also overloading the healthcare system too with completely preventable like things. Like, I'm not saying that some medications or some, I don't know, health conditions can give you issues with your weight or losing weight and all that. But there's no excuse when it's like just you eating a lot and not walking enough. Like, genuinely, I think it's just a skill issue at that point.
Issue overall. As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, my little chickadee noodles, I hope you stay safe and
Why am
well.
I a noodle? Why am I a chicken? I'm a fox.
And I will see your
This
wonderful
bitch.
little prickly pear faces in the next video.
Prickly pear! I mean, they're pretty tasty. That was a pretty good video. Yeah, it was not bad. It was enjoyable. Yeah, chat, take care of yourself so you can watch more VTubers. I want more smugglers and more people who watch VTubers to live longer so that I can stream more. I don't want to know that, like, someone passed away. Like, from a preventable thing. How about that? That's all I want. There's some comment that I saw just a second ago that was kind of crazy. I wanted to touch on it. It was Tomix who replied to it. Hold on. Oh, it was this. Yeah, this was quite interesting to read. My wife is in her 30s and in a wheelchair. She has actual problems and can't walk. We have a scooter for when we go shopping, and she hates the looks she gets from people who probably think she's just lazy. And again, this wouldn't be such a prominent, like, human zeitgeist opinion if mobility scooters weren't associated with pretty much being exclusively fat. Like, you have no visible way. Like, you see a person who's old, who's visibly old with white hair on a mobility scooter, that's a visual indicator that they're probably old. Whereas someone who's, like, you know, not able to walk, it's like, oh, well, she's just fat, or like, oh, like, that's what the immediate thought is. Because the association throughout the last, like, 30 to 40 years has become normalized. Make oldies walk? I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying that some people don't have visible disabilities. Like, you don't know that. I know a person who's had spine issues their whole life, and they have to deal with it, and they have to stand up a lot, and they can't sit down a lot of the time for extended periods of time, and they look like a young person who's quite skinny, and they just can't fucking sit for too long because their back hurts so much. Not everybody's disability is directly like, oh, well, you look like a cripple or something. It's not always like that. It's like an invisible disability.